God, that sounds good.
It's that week.
Yeah, it is.
Ooh.
Oh.
All right. Welcome to a very special U.S. Open edition of the Buttercut on the MWBK Creative Podcast Network. I'm your host. My name's Bradley Key, and I'm joined by my co-host, Peter the Irish Guy.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, brother?
How's it going?
It's great. Some of you may know Pete. He is the founder of our critically acclaimed MLB podcast segment that will soon possibly be its own standalone show called Tight and High.
Yeah, we may do something come playoff time, come September. We'll start to do our own little.
That's what I'm thinking. We'll aim for October for you guys to venture off on your own deal. But as it is, you're basically critically acclaimed as like the next 60 minutes with this cow segment. So
I think you're right.
You guys are really breaking the mold with that segment there. Yeah. So let's get into it. A little bit about Pete. I wrote up a little thing about you. I hope you don't mind me doing a best speech leading into our podcast.
Am I going to blush?
A best man speech.
Yeah, am I going to blush here?
Let me see.
Okay,
I'll keep an eye on you.
Go on, hit me with it.
All right. Pete grew up in Ireland playing golf, that is, with the likes of Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry.
Yeah, Seamus Power. Shout out to Seamus Power as well.
Seamus Power.
Actually, I have a fond memory of playing with Seamus because it was in Waterford, which is where he's from. Waterford's a town in Ireland, and it was in, I want to say it was in the Irish Boys or something like that, and we played together in the last round.
So what are you, like 13, 15?
No, we were older. We would have been 16 or 17, and Seamus was one of the good guys, one of the premier kids, and I just remember going, oh yeah, it was such a treat to be able to play with him that day, and yeah, unbelievable putter, lovely fella, so down to earth as everyone is from Waterford, but yeah, fond memory of that.
I'll never forget the first time you were on the Buttercut when it was just a segment, and you told us about how you could hear Rory McIlroy's hips clearing when he was swinging a golf club.
Yeah, amazing thing that I remember. I just never heard anything like that before.
It was amazing. So after he grew up in Ireland, Pete moved to the States. He played 4 years of D1 college golf.
Yep.
Finally, Pete played professionally for 6 years, grinding on mini tours around the States.
Grinding is an understatement.
Grinding hard on mini tours around the United States before moving to Austin, Texas, which is where we are today. Pete is our resident expert and on all professional aspects of the golfing world. And
every other sport, really, to be honest.
You're going to add credibility to our golf knowledge and our ability to booze.
Exactly.
Pete goes hard on the booze, too.
Yeah, I do, yeah. Don't say that too late, but no, we do. I'm from Ireland. It's no surprise that Irish people love to drink.
It is what it is.
It's one of those stereotypes that...
One of the true ones?
It's one of the true ones.
Can't really deny it.
No, it's a stereotype for a reason.
All right, cool. Well, there you have it. You have been announced. You have been introduced.
Yeah,
Ralph,
you did make me blush.
Dog
you did make me blush too much.
You're not feeling too blushy?
No. Hey,
you need
Ralph.
to drink a little more.
Ralph, you need to calm down.
Ralph's licking the back of my head right now as my dog. For those of you who are listening for the first time, Ralph is a 1-year-old Bernedoodle. He weighs 110 pounds, and he acts...
I mean, he weighs as much as I do.
He is a terrorist.
And by as much as I do, I mean 250 pounds. This is what I mean by that.
He carries himself well.
Not that I weigh 110
pounds.
Yeah. I'm like him. I'm tall,
Yeah.
Athletic. Exactly. Yeah.
I always compare Ralph. Do you watch any college basketball?
Yeah, I watch a lot of college basketball.
Ralph's the Zion Williamson of his puppy class.
Wow.
He's like a 280-pound ballerina doing 360 dunks and shit. Okay, so couple house notes before we get into the meat of this bad boy.
Yeah.
So like I said, we're here for the U.S. Open. We're doing all U.S. Open talk. You will hear nothing but golf talk on this particular podcast. Pete and I are going to bring you all the action, all the storylines,
all the people want to hear.
All the goods, man. It's going to be great. Before that, let me tell you a little bit about how this is going to play out here over the next couple of months for the Buttercut. For the next couple of months, as I said, actually it's probably in the next couple of weeks, we'll be releasing on the Backdoor Cover podcast feed, which is what we're doing right this second.
Yep.
In July, when the Open Championship is scheduled, we plan to do our own full launch where we will launch into a Buttercut specific podcast feed.
Yeah.
So for the next couple weeks, maybe 6 weeks, you guys, anytime you see something that's specifically the Buttercut and then the name of a tournament, you'll know it's just golf talk. We would love you to join us.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. We appreciate your ears.
Yeah,
we appreciate it all.
I have a lot of good things to be talking about for
for
the Open. I played Portrush many times.
It's going to be a fucking amazing.
Yeah, can't wait.
Because that's your neck of the woods, right?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. The Open Championship moving to Ireland is a very important thing for any Irish golfer. It's incredible. It's the last time it was played there was in 1946, and it's a massive deal. And it's going to be amazing. The fans are going to come out. The golf course is going to look spectacular. I hope they get a little bit of weather and stuff like that to where, the golf course can show its teeth.
Sure.
But, yeah, look forward to it.
So, your boy Graham McDowell actually just qualified to play.
It's Graham. So, just to correct you, right?
Yes, please do help me.
Well, and this isn't a knock on what you're saying because, listen, it's Graham McDowell everywhere else in the world except Ireland.
What is it in Ireland? I thought
it's Graham McDowell.
McDowell?
Yeah, McDowell. So you say it as if
you roll out the O.
Yeah, the O is more pronounced, so it's pronounced Graham McDowell.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Yeah,
our goal is to launch during this Open Championship.
Yep.
By the following one, we're going to be so big they're going to fly us out there for free, and I'm going to have to nail my Graham McDowell pronunciation before I get there.
Perfect. Okay. I've a couple of good Graham McDowell stories as well. Actually,
I can't wait.
When he came here for the match play.
Yeah.
So some drunken nights at a bar called the Dogwood downtown.
So for those of you who have not listened to us talk on the Buttercup podcast previously on the Backdoor Cover podcast, Pete had some epic nights, I guess is what you would call that.
Yeah, always fun.
You guys went hard during
we did. Listen.
Dell Technologies
the Dell
match play here
in Austin, where
this March,
where the 64 best players in the world. Well, ever since I came here, we've kind of done it, and me being friendly with Shane Lowry, he's always very good to me in terms of giving tickets, and he's
generous,
very generous, and always up for a good time. It's a trait of Irish people, especially famous Irish sports stars.
Sure,
we're very humble and down to earth kind of people, and they kind of never, they never forget where they came from, and no one ever gets too big for anything. And so kind of Shane is very typical of that, and very nice, and then loves coming to Austin.
I don't know why, but Shane's always been one of my favorite players.
Yeah, I
think it was
so
right
likable.
When I started really being a fan of the PGA, he was hot. Like it was him and Rory were kind of coming around. I think it was an Open Championship that he was in contention of.
Well, the US Open at Oakmont a few years ago with the one that DJ won, Shane had a 3-shot lead on it the last round.
Yeah, I just remember, like as I started becoming more and more interested as like an adult PGA watcher, like he was on the scene. Yeah, I just like Sugar Shane. That's like a calling.
He's just very likable.
He got a good swing. I like his swing too.
Listen, there's no weakness in his game. That's the thing about him.
Yeah,
he's good at everything. He's a good driver of the golf ball. He's a good iron player. His short game, his hands are unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable
his hands look like they're incredible.
And he is a fantastic putter when he's on. Right, he's one of the best putters in the world. So.
Okay.
All right,
so
Ralph.
That's it.
Ralph, you need to go over this.
Ralph is molesting Pete, the Irish guy, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay.
Here, we're going to make it. Now he's pawing your back.
Yeah, okay.
Let's get into the actual tournament.
Let's do it.
Here we go. You ready?
I can't wait. This week it's one of the best weeks of the year. Other than Masters Week, it's the two Opens are.
I was curious about your perception of the U.S. Open versus
the Open.
The Open.
Yeah, I think it's probably like...
Why don't they call it the British Open anymore?
Well, I'll tell you why they don't call it the British Open. So they don't call it the British Open because the RNA. The RNA patented the term the Open. So the Open. The reason it's called, the Open is...
What's the RNA?
The RNA is the Royal and Ancient Golf Association.
I thought you were saying the IRA, like the Irish Republic. I was like, what? Okay, now I'm with you.
Yeah, no. So the RNA is the Royal and Ancient Golf Association. They're the USGA of Europe, right?
Okay.
So the two important golf bodies are the RNA and the USGA. The RNA run the European rules and tournaments, right? And the USGA run the American ones. And the RNA patented the term the Open. So the US Open and the USGA can never ever call there's the Open.
Right.
Because that is the British Open,
right,
quote unquote.
Okay, I'm with you now.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so let's get into the US Open.
Do it. Can't wait.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. Pebble Beach is set to host the 119th edition of the US Open this week. How do you feel about Pebble? Have you played there?
No.
What do you know about it?
Actually, my dad just texted me today. We were texting back and forth, and he did mention I was telling him, so I'm doing this podcast later, and he said, because, you know, one of the things that makes me uncomfortable at Pebble is the $500 it costs to go fucking play.
Yeah.
And, you know, although the course is probably packed and they can charge whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
But
I mean, it's a wait list.
Yeah. But listen, like, he's not wrong. Like, it's a public golf course, right? So we're going down to Torrey Pines at the end of July to go play.
Another public golf course.
Yeah, and Torrey Pines, 2 golf courses. One's $100, the other's $200. Reasonable. They're fantastic, but you can afford that. Pebble Beach is not affordable.
No, it is not your common man's golf course.
It is as he said, it should be called the exclusive public.
So I'm jumping in my notes here, but I've got, let's see here. A round at Pebble Beach in 2018 cost $525 for a greens fee, plus $40 for a cart, or $92.50 for a caddy's fee for non-resident guests. So you're looking at like $700 or so if you want to play in 2018. And I would imagine prices have gone up, inflation, so on and so forth. I'm not an economist, but I've got a feeling that that's how that works.
Yeah.
So, not to jump ahead, twice actually. An early storyline. So how this is going to play out is I'm going to give you guys, we're going to talk through basically an overview about the U.S. Open, a little bit of history about the course, Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about like historical performances, that kind of stuff. And then we're going to dive into storylines for this week, which is kind of the meat of the podcast.
Yeah, the storylines are the meat of it.
So we're going to get to that eventually. But first, because this is Pebble Beach and it just so happens to be a storyline for this particular podcast, here it is. This is the 100th anniversary of Pebble Beach's existence, and it has delivered U.S. Open champions of Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Tom Kite, Tom Watson, and Graham McDowell. So it's had 5 previous U.S. Open tournaments, and all of them are the most prestigious possible winners you could have.
Yeah, well, 3 of the 5 are 3 of the greatest players that have ever walked the face of the planet.
So you're cutting Watson off or Kite?
No, Tom Kite, Jesus, don't fucking. Why you do fucking take that back immediately?
Well, I grew up with Tom Kite's kids. He was like a fucking
I know
god.
you did. Tom Kite also hit one of the worst golf shots ever recorded on live television. Have you seen that?
No.
That YouTube video?
I gotta look it up.
Oh god,
they got it on YouTube?
Yeah, if you go on YouTube right now and you put in Tom Kite worst golf shot, it is one of the most outrageously bad fucking This is exactly it.
I don't have my computer plugged in to play this, but I will post it on the Buttercup podcast.
He almost kills. The ball goes directly left, 20 yards straight.
He yanks it shanky.
It's like a hosel rocket that goes left.
So he has inflated lore around here just because he grew up in Austin. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I know.
So that's why I had inflated his self-worth.
Austin Country Club is one of my favorite places.
Sure.
I won the Harvey Penick Invitational there. Tom Kite has his own statue there.
So let me tell you something.
I have a lot of history there. I love that place.
I grew up like maybe a 7-iron from that course. Like literally I was born in this house. My parents still live in it.
Yeah.
I have never played that course.
Oh, wow.
How is that possible?
Brad,
I know people.
Brad, you just...
Can you help me?
Brad, just ask me.
You can help?
Brad, yes.
I'm going to ask a dude who is transplanted from Ireland to help me get on a course that I was born 15 feet from.
Brad, I've played it an inordinate amount of times. When my dad has come down, my dad has played it twice.
The first time I saw it was when I paid for a ticket to go watch Dell Match play in like 2015.
My dad lives in Seattle, has, it comes down here. He's been in Austin a lot. He's played it, I think, at least twice.
Well, you got to help me out, buddy.
Yeah.
We got to, okay, this podcast's going to blow up. Then we're going to go play some luxurious golf. In the meantime, let's get back to the program.
So 3 of the 5 greatest players of all time, Tom Watson, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods,
have won both U.S. Opens at Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
So, which is, it's not always held at Pebble Beach for those of you who are unfamiliar with kind of how this is set up. So the U.S. Open is scheduled every year so that the final round
falls on Father's
Day, which is the third Sunday of June.
You know whose birthday it is this Sunday?
Who's that?
Phil Mickelson.
He's going to turn 48 or 9?
49.
Holy crap.
He turns 49 on his birthday on the last round of the U.S. Open on Father's Day.
That's incredible.
And he's come runner-up 6 times.
Another storyline.
How outrageous is that storyline?
It's going to be amazing.
I mean,
I hope he makes a cut.
Listen.
I mean, he already won at Pebble earlier this year too.
Yeah.
February, he won the AT&T.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I mean, I think
yeah.
it's worth fucking nothing.
Okay, so let's set this up for the casual fan, and for those of you who are already very familiar, I apologize. Just bear with us.
Okay.
So, U.S. Open play is characterized by tight scoring at or around par by the leaders.
Yeah, even USGA lives and breathes at even par.
That's their goal.
That's their fucking goal.
That's their mission in life.
Is if you finish at even par, you are going to win our golf tournament.
So the winner usually emerges at or around even par, and that's kind of generally what you're getting out of the U.S. Open. That's not always the case, as we'll cover here in a second.
Absolutely, yeah. Not always the case, but more often than not, it is the case.
So getting back to where the venue, the host venue of the tournament, the U.S. Open is staged at a variety of courses. Let's see. A U.S. Open course is seldom beaten severely, as we just covered. Yep. There have been many over par wins.
Yep.
Normally, an open course is, I've got some bullets here, long, and we'll have a high cut of primary rough.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Undulating greens.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sometimes subtle. Oakmont, maybe one of the most famous, more traditional U.S. Open venues, and known as the most difficult golf course in the world. Doesn't have really, really slopey greens,
right?
But they're really, really difficult.
So, for those of you who are new or listening for the first time, a game Pete and I basically play, and it's our favorite game, is I read shit that I read off the internet to him, and he tells me why that's nerdy or stupid.
Yeah, well,
and listen, so that's golf, what we're doing right here.
Yeah, golf is a way too nerdy sport. A lot of golfers, especially pro golfers, get abused for being far too nerdy. I like to think I try and bring the nerdiness down in the sport.
No, you're helping.
As someone that has played every other sport my whole life and was way more interested in every other sport until I realized, I'm actually kind of good at this one. That's kind of the reason.
You always realize it too late with golf, man.
Well, not for me, but yeah.
But you said you were interested in like all the other sports.
Oh yeah, I played.
You couldn't get passionate about
soccer, rugby, tennis, every other sport, and then
all of a sudden,
exactly, all the Irish sports until later in life, kind of got into golf. But no, yeah, I think, the course setup, it's going to be very typical of U.S. Open.
So this is a weird note that I had a hard time like digesting when I first read it. So this is the last of the four descriptors of a typical U.S. Open course. So 2 or 3 holes that are short par 5s under regular play are changed into long par 4s during the U.S. Open tournament, which brings the total par down to 70.
Yeah. So
why is that?
Okay. So there's 2 things that the USGA love.
Okay.
The USGA love the winning score to be even par.
Right. So they don't get beat.
And the winning score to be 280. All right, 280 strokes means that
that's just their favorite number?
Means that it's par 70.
Okay.
So that's 70. That's right. And so you're right with that. Traditionally, they take 2 of the par 5s that are the weakest par 5s for the members, and they change them into par 4s. I'll give you a good example. I played in the 2008 U.S. Open. Or sorry, not U.S. Open, U.S. Amateur at Pinehurst. And
2008, you said?
2008 U.S. Amateur. Danny Lee was the winner of that event.
He's still on tour.
Still a good player. And I remember getting to, my brother caddied for me that week. I actually played we played about 6 holes with George Bryan.
No shit.
Yeah, one of the Bryan brothers. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
So I remember getting to the 8th hole at Pinehurst, which was a converted par. So the 2 par 5s that they took and made them as par 4s were number 8 and number 16. And I remember getting to the tee box and walking on the tee. And if you know anything about U.S. Open or the U.S. Amateur, the USGA, they put these fantastic white signposts on the tee.
Right.
And they're the same for both the U.S. Am and the U.S. Open, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's these large signposts, and they have the USGA tee pegs, right? Which is it's just as a golfer, it's just intimidating, right? And they have this giant signpost, and the signpost reaches up in the air, and at the top of it, it says hole number 8, par 4 yards, and it was like 517 yards. And I just remember standing there, just kind of going. And it was one of those holes, like, I think I might have played a par 4 that was over 500 yards, but it was probably way downhill, or
right.
there was something going through. I remember standing on the tee and looking at it. Okay, par 5, 517, and looking out at the fairway, going, "Well, that fairway is like 15 yards wide. And it's kind of uphill. Like, what's going on here?
I can't match this. Like, yeah, if
exactly.
You miss it all,
exactly." And it was one of those weeks where if you missed the fairway, I just looked at my brother and went, "All right, well, just give me sand wedge."
And before you go on, I got 2 questions. Yeah. How much older is your brother, or younger?
He's younger. He's younger. two and a half years younger.
Okay, so he's the youthful.
I'm the eldest.
He's kind of giving you that youthful, brave feel, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, "You're good. Let's go."
Yeah, absolutely.
So how big of crowds were you experiencing this in front of?
So
because it's big, right?
Yeah. Well, it depends.
It's shit your pants big, right?
No. Well.
In front of
yes and no.
Okay.
If you get to the match play at the USM, yes. How that week we actually did play with a local guy from South Carolina, and we had one of the TV crews follow us. So I remember I was in one of the fairways, and I remember kind of standing over the ball, and the first time ever this happened to me in my life, as I was standing over the ball, out of the corner of my right eye, I could see the cameraman laying down on the grass with a TV
like an army man?
Yeah, with the TV camera right on me. And I remember kind of just thinking, wow, this is bizarre, you know? So, yeah, it's one of those, you know, and it's the first ever event I'd played in where they had the TV towers behind every green.
So beyond having like a pretty sizable audience, then on top of that, you're on television.
Yeah, you have the TV towers behind every green. Everything's roped off, and everything is done like it's probably the 6th biggest tournament in the world, the US Amateur. You know,
it's
that
huge,
big now.
Definitely.
So,
every year, like when they're like listing a pedigree of people who are winners on the PGA, like routinely the thing that people list is US Amateur. You know, this, whatever college deal or whatever, so on and so forth. So, it's a humongous deal. It's a humongous tournament. It's incredible that you played in it, actually, especially at Pinehurst.
Yeah.
So,
Pinehurst is pretty special.
All right. So my last note of the overview. Since 2018, we're looking at what the rules are should this thing go into extra holes of play. So like if it's a tie on Sunday. Since 2018, the USGA adopted a 2-hole aggregate playoff format.
Very odd. So obviously, traditionally it was the 18 holes the next day.
Yeah, they played on Monday. 18 holes.
Which I think, you know, everyone kind of liked that. I think if you polled every golf fan about the US Open playoff and the fact that if it's a playoff, you got to come back the next day, you got to go 18 more fucking holes and win again. That tells you how hard the US Open is to win. It leads into the USGA being the best test. It fit the US Open. It's interesting that they changed it. And I'll tell you this. So every single major, all 4 majors have a different playoff
system.
Right.
Like if there's extra holes.
Right. So the normal PGA Tour event playoff is just that you go back to number 18 and sudden death straight away.
Yeah.
Right. So the Open Championship is a 4-hole playoff.
Okay.
The PGA is a 3-hole playoff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Now the US Open is a fucking 2-hole playoff, and the Masters, it used to be sudden death, like 1 hole straight away sudden death, starting on number 10. Instead, it's just sudden death starting on 18 now. So the Masters is a 1-hole sudden death playoff. The US Open is 2, the PGA is 3, and the Open is 4.
How interesting.
Yeah, so I feel like the US Open and the USGA, they may have been kind of pushed in that direction. To fit that, I don't know. That's
the mold.
The only reason that makes sense, right?
Yeah, right. Like, why would it be that perfectly
right?
lined?
Why would it be 1 hole, 2 hole, 3, 4? Yeah, so it does.
Because like previously for the U.S. Open, like you look back at famous finishes, you've got Tiger versus Rocco.
Unbelievable, and they had to go. Not only did they have to go another 18, they had to go sudden death again.
Yeah.
They had to go to
18 wasn't enough.
Exactly. Yeah,
that was incredible.
Absolutely outrageous that someone like Rocco Mediate.
With his fucking peace belt on, like a little peace symbol on his belt buckle.
Unbelievable. And I mean, the putt that Tiger made on 18, probably one of the most famous of all time ever made.
Yeah. Incredible. So, now you know, in 2018 plus, you're looking at a 2-hole aggregate playoff, and if they're still in a tie, they'll go into sudden death.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's go into some history about the tournament and about the course. So the U.S. Open was first played October 4th, 1895 on a 9-hole course at the Newport Country Club in Newport, Rhode Island. Yeah, you knew this.
Well, I've played Newport Country Club.
Sometimes I get excited when I surprise you with factoids. I didn't know if that one was going to get there, but I've got a couple more up my sleeve here.
I actually played Newport, Rhode Island.
You have? Club. Is it still 9-hole?
No, it's not. It's
they figured out
the golf course. In fact, I actually held the course record.
No shit.
Yeah, in college at Newport, Rhode Island, but I only held it for about probably 14 minutes.
That's good.
So
better than everybody else.
So we finished third in the event in college.
Okay.
Texas A&M won the event. And
what'd you shoot? What was the record?
I had shot 68, 4 under. It was really, really difficult golf course. I think it was either 67 or 68. I actually can't really remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I remember getting in and them saying, that's a new course record. And
were they grouchy?
No, I just remember my coach going, yeah, that's the lowest score ever shot here. And then Bronson Burgoon, who's on the
I know that name.
Yeah, he's on the PGA Tour right now. He could be playing this week. I don't know.
Sure.
But he's a PGA Tour member. He finished 2 groups after me. He won the event and he shot 66. That was a new course record, yeah. So I held it for about 12 minutes.
Claim to fame, baby.
I finished third individually, right? And in second was Andrea Pavon on the European Tour from Texas A&M from Italy. And first was Bronson.
How do they get those fucking foreigners in Texas A&M?
I know, unbelievable. And then first was Bronson Burgoon. But yeah, that was a little bit of...
so that's a little history about Newport Country Club. My co-host here held the course record.
Yeah, for about 12 minutes.
That's right. So the first U.S. Open, 10 professionals and 1 amateur entered the field.
Yeah, so it doesn't count.
A 21-year-old Englishman named Horace Rollins, please correct me if I'm wrong.
Horace Rollins, yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Won. He earned $150 plus a $50 gold medal.
Yeah, you know how long it probably took him to get over to the U.S.?
Well, no, he was there at the time. He had just defected or whatever you call it. Not defected, but moved
he spent
over.
4 months on a boat.
He was like a professional.
Survived gonorrhea and AIDS and the syphilis and the plague.
He just finished coughing up a lung and he went out there and won.
Yeah, okay.
So he's the first winner. Between that year was 1895. Then until 1911, it was the U.S. Open was dominated by British wins. British player wins.
It's interesting, except it did not. The only other,
I got this.
The only
right
other
here.
3-time winner.
Yes,
1905 to 07.
Yeah,
What's
which was
name?
a British guy.
Oh, was it a British guy?
Well, I may be speaking out of turn. I'm going to get to him here in a second.
Okay.
So in 1911, which is when the first John J. McDermott. Okay. That's how us Americans say McDermott.
Yeah.
Became the first native-born American to win the United States Open.
Wow. Okay.
Previously, it was, like I said, dominated by British players. Since 1911, the title has mostly been won by players from the United States, oddly enough.
Yeah. It's been 46 winners or something from the U.S.
Yeah, but there was one really weird streak in the early 2000s. So a streak of 4 consecutive non-American winners occurred from 2004 to 2007.
Well, hang on.
Does it sound familiar?
Yeah, because Retief Goosen won in 2004 at Shinnecock.
Right.
Then 2005.
This one's really out there.
2005.
A New Zealander.
Yeah, Michael Campbell at Pinehurst.
Wow.
Yeah. Then 2006.
An Australian.
2006.
He's actually the most, maybe the most well-known.
You would have an Aussie. You would have had, who was it?
Ogilvy.
Jeff Ogilvy. He won at +4 at Wingfoot. Okay. I know the score. Yeah, won at +4 at Wingfoot.
And lastly,
that's the one that Colin Montgomery. It's the one that Mickelson messed up where you winged it right.
15.
But it's the one that Monty will rue the most, where Monty was he was going to win, and he doubled the last to miss the playoff. He had to make 4 at the last to win. He made 6 and didn't get in to a playoff. And then the last one after that was in 2007. Where is he from?
Argentine.
Oh, and Miguel Angel at
Cabrera.
Yeah, Miguel Angel at Angel Cabrera at Oakmont.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. Okay. You're pretty goddamn good.
Yeah, my history's pretty good. I could probably tell you every winner of the U.S. Masters back to probably 77-ish. I could go in order.
So you big fan?
Big fan.
Big fan of the history.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So keep me in check here because I'm going to keep on going. We're going into the course history now. We're going into Pebble Beach specifically.
All right.
So like we said, it's in its 100th year. So this is his 100th birthday. It was
actually
founded in 1919.
Yeah, good story about the 100th year. So there's a big tournament in Ireland, the World Father and Son Championships.
Okay.
Happens in Ireland in August at a golf club called Waterville.
So is it best ball or what? How do you play this thing?
Yeah, it's you and your dad in 2-man best ball. Right, and it's 3 rounds of stroke play. Handicap is involved, all that, but it's I've never played in it, but it's a spectacular event. One of my best mates has played in it a bunch of times. You have like Dan Marino and Wayne Gretzky and all the celebs go and play it.
Sure.
Amazing. They run it like a tour event as well.
Really?
There's cameras out there. The range is all perfect.
There's a BMW on the par 3 that you win if you make the hole.
It's a huge event. So this year is the 30th anniversary of the World Father and Son.
No shit.
Jointly, it's the 100th anniversary of Pebble Beach. So they actually held a special World Father and Son Invitational just this past May in Pebble Beach. It was like a 28-team invite-only field. Myself and my father got an invite to go and play in it. Yes.
And you didn't go?
Well, here's the caveat. It was $15,000 to go fucking play.
You get invited, but you got to pay.
Well, yeah.
Big boy numbers.
Right. So the way the tournament was going to be run was.
Well, do you win money if you win?
Well, no. There's no cash. There's a trophy, and
then it goes to like a charity or something.
And then some good prize or something. But it was 1 round at Spyglass, 1 round at Pebble. You get a practice round. You stay at the Pebble Beach Resort,
and this includes 5-star. The fees, like all that.
So it was $7,500 a person. So it was $15,000 before flights or anything out there.
Yikes.
So yeah, I was like, Dad. So we got the person emailed me from the Carr family in Ireland, said, would you guys like to play? And I was like, well, how much is it going to cost? And she gave me all the details, and I was like, oh God, $15,000. Yeah, that's just too much money.
I mean, you could do a lot of shit. You could buy a goddamn car with $15,000.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just too much money. We're not there yet.
One day, man.
One day we'll get there.
One day they're going to call you up and be like, you are the Peter the Irish guy from the Buttercut?
Exactly.
You are free. You are entered.
Yeah. So that was it was the centenary year of Pebble Beach, mixed with the 30th anniversary of the World Father and Son. So that event was back in May. So yeah.
Incredible. So ordinarily, back to Pebble Beach, it is a par 72 course. However, Pebble becomes a par 71 during the U.S. Open. As we mentioned, they changed
Is that what it is?
So it says here in my Wikipedia notes, which could be.
Hang on. I'm guessing that's correct. I'm trying to think.
We'll have to double check it, fact check that.
So the par 5s are 18, 14, and
18 is like the most famous hole.
Yeah, 18, 14, and then one on the there's only one on the front 9, and the one on the front 9 it's not.
Which the math checks out for it to be a 71.
Yeah, it's not 1, 2, 3.
I love how you're Rain Man-ing this shit on the air.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the par 5 on the front is. Oh yeah, it's the par 5 in the front is number 6. It's the par 5, the famous shot that Tiger Woods hit. It's before the little par 3.
Yeah.
Back to the water. So Tiger.
There's so many fucking famous Tiger shots in this course.
Well, when Tiger won by 15.
Oh, yeah. In 2000.
It was round 2. He was wearing a white t-shirt, grey pants. I remember the shot vividly. He hit in the right rough, and he had like 217 yards to the hole.
Yeah.
And the second shot is you have to hit it about 40 feet above your head.
Yeah.
Up over a big cliff. And Tiger was buried in the rough.
I know who you're talking about.
And he hit 7-iron.
The only reason why I know is because I played on Tiger Woods golf in 2003.
Right.
Yeah.
So he hit 7-iron from 215. And
of course,
the commentators were like, well, there's no way he can get this on the green, is it?
Because uphill 215, right?
It's right.
So it's like 240.
Straight, exactly. And he hit 7-iron to 12 feet and rolled it.
So I think that's the same round. I posted a video of him on 18 where he's underneath a tree and he has to hit this.
No. That's
power slice.
That's in 2010. That was when McDowell won.
Was? Yeah, you're right.
That was round 3.
Because he was still wearing that same outfit, that white on white.
Yeah, he was actually wearing this beige color during that round.
During the 7-iron you're talking about?
No, during the one under the tree.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But he finished third, I think, in that event. So, I mean, he had a great week.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a famous shot.
So then we have established it is a 71, par 71, when the course typically does play as a par 72. So Pebble Beach is widely regarded as one of the most beautiful courses in the world. As we kind of talked about, the greens fees are outrageous. So Pebble Beach's greens fees are among the highest in the world. Like I said, $525 plus 40 for a cart plus $92.50 for a caddy. You're looking at like $700 to $800, and that was in 2018.
So
So
yeah, a quick thing about the about not the green speed. What did you say before that?
The most beautiful course in the world.
Yeah, if Jack Nicklaus, one of his most famous lines was,
I saw it. Yeah,
if I had to play one round,
it's the one.
It'd be Pebble.
It's the one.
And that kind of tells you all you need to know about it.
The greatest of all time.
You know, you have Augusta National, you've Pine Valley, you've a few other courses that are probably ranked, quote unquote, ahead of it. But when Jack Nicklaus said, if I've one round to play, it's Pebble Beach. Tells you all you need to know.
When the ghost speaks.
Exactly.
So, a little bit of history, a little bit about course design for those of you who are interested in that. Pebble Beach was designed by Jack Neville and Douglas Grant and opened in February 26, 1919. So that's how 2019 would be the centennial. Pebble Beach, as we mentioned earlier, has hosted the U.S. Open 5 times. In 1972, Jack Nicklaus won. 1982, Tom Watson won. 1992, Tom Kite. 2000, Tiger Woods. 2010, Graham McDowell. So
almost surprising that it hasn't held it more times, to be honest.
It does kind of seem surprising because it's one of the most it's pretty iconic, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, it's gone under some renovations and some changes, especially in the 2000s. Yeah, so maybe that's
it's
why.
Just not, and it's not very long.
And I mean, they've got another one scheduled in 2027. I saw.
Yeah,
and then they've got some other stuff.
They obviously
they've got a lot of stuff going on out there. But yeah, there's a couple of others that have been like 9 and 10 time hosts. Beyond it. But like we were saying, so like going back into some of these rounds, some of these previous championships, in 2000, Woods finished 12 under par, which must have made the USGA shit their pants and have nightmares for 10 years afterwards.
Well, I don't think it did. Well, only because second place was +3.
Right.
Miguel Angel Jimenez and Ernie Els finished tied second.
So he actually finished 15 shots ahead of the runner-up.
Yeah,
which is the largest margin ever of victory at a major championship.
Jimenez, Ernie, and Harrington all finished a +3.
Like Hall of Fame golfers that got mopped by this course, and Tiger just annihilated
And Ernie Els, his famous line, he walked off 18 on Sunday, and he said he quipped to reporters, well, I won the golf tournament that I was playing in.
The only one.
The only, right, because that guy doesn't fucking count.
That guy's alien. All right, so there's 2 signature holes that I have outlined here. You tell me if you want to highlight any others.
7 and 18.
That's it.
Yeah, they're the 2 famous holes.
The short par 3 7th, which plays just over 100 yards during major championships, is one of the most photographed holes in the world.
Yep.
The player hits from an elevated tee. Players hit straight out towards the Pacific Ocean off Arrowhead Point with nothing in the background but the often violent Pacific Ocean surf crashing against rocky outcroppings. Yeah,
that's a hole that conditions dictate how difficult it is.
It's a mental workout.
Well,
you have to hit it out into the ocean.
Well, if it's calm and it's flat calm, it's the most beautiful, easiest hole ever.
Okay.
It's 100 yards, it's flat calm. I'm going to flick a little sand wedge or flick a little lob wedge down there, and I'm going to hit it.
But it's going to be blowing like crazy, the wind.
Exactly. If the wind is blowing,
which it always is on the ocean.
Normally does, then it becomes a scary little hole.
Then then on top of having to adjust for 30 or 40 yards of downhill,
the arsehole puckers up then when you see the waves of the Pacific Ocean kind of bashing on the rocks.
So hole number 2, the 18th, as you mentioned, which you already highlighted. Arguably the greatest closing hole in golf. The 18th hole is a medium-length par 5. It's about 550 yards with the Pacific Ocean along the left side. There's a giant tree in the middle of the fairway and a long 100-plus yard bunker running alongside the ocean, guarding the left side of the green.
Yeah, one of the most famous stories from 18. 18 is a fantastic hole, iconic hole.
Yeah.
There's the famous trees that sit out there in the fairway. But one of the most famous stories, which I think most people know, some people probably don't know, was Tiger Woods and Stevie Williams on 18.
Yeah.
So not sure if you know the story. So when Tiger won there...
2000?
Yeah, in 2000. So in the second round, Tiger stood on the tee.
Yeah.
And he was going really well, playing fantastic stuff. And he snap hooked it straight into the Pacific Ocean off the tee. He looked at Stevie and said, give me another fucking ball. And Stevie went into the bag and he realized that he only had one more golf ball in his bag.
And if you ran out of golf balls, you're done. You DQ.
Well, he'd be disqualified.
Yeah.
So Stevie looked at him. He said, how about we hit an iron? And Tiger said, why the fuck would I do that?
Did he tell him?
No, he never. He said nothing, and he threw him the golf ball. Tiger stood up with driver, and he mashed it down the miles down the middle, and then he hit his fourth onto the green.
Didn't he par it or something?
No, I don't think he made par. I think he made 6. He made a good 6.
A pretty damn good 6.
Good 6. But Stevie said he's never been more nervous anything in his life. So that probably the greatest performance in major history
news cycle?
could have been completely different. Tiger was DQ'd because his caddy forgot to put extra balls
while he's up 15 strokes.
Right, unbelievable.
I would have told him.
I know.
You have to.
No, you can't.
You have to. You
can't.
Like, dude, you're up 15 strokes. You could hit 15 balls in the water,
he wasn't
but we
at the
got
time.
1.
It was like round 2.
Oh, I thought this was towards the end.
No, he was up significantly.
Right.
But
it wasn't quite that.
No, it was like round 2.
It wasn't all over.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so the interesting thing about the 18th hole, it was originally an unremarkable par 4. In 1922,
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, in 1922, William Herbert Fowler added almost 200 yards to the hole.
Oh wow!
And reinvented it.
Well, he made it an iconic hole.
That's right. He took it from being an unremarkable hole to being one of the most iconic closing holes in all of golf. So, you guys have put up with all of our nerdy, historic bullshit, which I very much enjoy, but most people do not.
Yeah, let's get into some storylines.
Let's get some storylines, boy.
Yeah, there's some great storylines this week.
So we got to start with the defending champ, Brooks Koepka. Brooks, who won last year, also won the year before.
Yeah, fucking absolute madness if he was to go and win 3 in a row.
So as you mentioned when we were kind of going through the history of this course, there's only been one player who has three-peated in whatever, how many hundred, it was 100 and
so
whatever
year.
It 119.
Essentially doesn't count. It was in black and white, doesn't count.
It was in 1903, 1904, and 1905, and it was done by Willie Anderson of Scotland.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
So he's the only three-peat in U.S. Open history, and Brooks Koepka happens to be...
And there was probably 40 players playing in that tournament.
Yeah.
And it was probably...
And now it's like 152.
3 rounds. And exactly. Now it's a completely different event. No one has done it basically ever in the last, over 100 years.
In modern golf.
Yeah, in over 100 years. If Brooks Koepka was to go and win 3 in a row... My God, that would be...
It's uncharted.
Well, not only has he... I saw the stat about him, the time frame between winning his first major and his fourth major. He's a year and a half quicker than anyone else in the history of golf has ever done it. You get the sense from Brooks that he gets kind of pissed off, right? That people don't give him the love, and he's a little. No, he's whiny, and people kind of, you can sense that from him. I can see, right, if he was, let's say he was to win this week, I could see him saying something that may piss people off. Like, I could see him saying, people talk about Tiger chasing Jack's record. It's fucking me that's fucking taking shit. It's me that's chasing the record, and I'm the fucking greatest ever. I think
it was at last year's PGA when like everybody was following Tiger like 3 holes ahead of him, and he wasn't even in it really, but he was kind of in it, and he was pissed.
Right.
And ever since then, he's had like
he has this little thing.
Good for fucking him.
I was talking about it with a work colleague earlier on today, and you can kind of sense that he's probably going to say something real soon. If he was to win this week, he's going to say something that it'll just make people kind of hate him probably more.
Well, he could beat up most people.
He probably could, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't even need a bodyguard.
All right, what's our next storyline?
Well, just before we jump into it, so previously, Brooks Koepka, your defending U.S. Open championship, he won at Shinnecock Hills over runner-up Tommy Fleetwood in 2018.
Tommy.
And then
Tommy.
I love Tommy. Tommy's my dog.
Tommy Fleetwood.
Is that a real song, or did you make that up?
That's a fucking real song. That was from the Ryder Cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other side is Molly, 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 Molinari. Yeah.
Like for mole enchiladas?
It's like a soccer chant.
So in 2017, which also Koepka won, he won at Erin Hills over Hideki Matsuyama, who's never won. So this is funny because these are 2 of the biggest names of runner-ups.
Yeah, Erin Hills
are 2 of the biggest names who haven't got a major championship in Hideki and Fleetwood.
Erin Hills didn't go well for the USGA. They didn't like that event.
Brian Harman was also in contention.
Yeah. Well, that says all you need to know about that tournament.
We mentioned Willie Anderson, the only three-peat in history, and it was probably versus a field of 40 on 3 rounds. So that's that. Next
4 of them
storyline.
were goats.
There you have it.
Yeah.
So Rory McIlroy, fresh off a win.
Yeah.
So Rory McIlroy enters the week coming off a dominant win in the RBC Canadian Open, in which he narrowly missed, shooting 59 on Sunday. He bogeyed 18. If he had birdied, he shot 61. He would have shot 59.
It's funny. I was watching that. He kind of tightened up a little bit. It shows you what what 59 means to these guys, and so Rory hadn't hit a bad shot all day. All day he'd hit this high draw into every flag.
So damn pretty.
And then on 18, he kind of held onto one and he kind of steered it, and it leaked out into the bunker.
Yeah.
And you could see in his face, he kind of had this smile on his face like, oh, fuck, that was, God, I got nervous there. And I kind of choked that one away a little bit. That was just nerves that got him. But either way, it was an unbelievable performance. He was amazing. He's one of the best.
64-61 on the weekend.
Yeah.
He's coming into this as hot as any player could possibly be.
Yeah, I don't think he can maintain that level of golf.
And he kind of has a history of being really hot going into these things and kind of falling flat, right? Somewhat?
Yeah.
I mean, that may be a little bit critical.
Probably a little bit critical.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, and this is me kind of going off what Paul McGinley has said earlier in the week, and it was something that...
Tell us who Paul McGinley is.
Paul McGinley, former Ryder Cup captain.
That's right.
Multiple wins on the European Tour.
European captain.
Yeah, legendary Irish golfer. So
respected analyst.
I mean, he's a winning European Ryder Cup captain.
Sure.
Right? So Paul McGinley was asked, do you agree with, the statement that when Rory's on and he's playing well, there's no one else in the world like him? And he gave an answer that I'd never really heard before, but it made a lot of sense to me, and I tend to agree with it. What he said was that if you look at Rory's, he has 22 or 24 PGA Tour wins. Over 15 of them are when he finishes a 12 under or better. So yeah, Rory when he's on is better than anyone. However, it's only when it
seldom
suits him. It's only when the course suits it and play dictates it, right? So Rory has
perfect storm stuff.
Yeah, Rory has never shown us to this point that he's able to go out and shoot even par and win a golf tournament. Huh. Rory McIlroy does really, really well when he shoots 20 under par.
Yeah.
It's kind of soft. He can bomb it miles. He can hit it close. And
he can take over with power and
just destroy a golf course with pure power. The U.S. Open that he won at Congressional was a bog, and he shot like...
What is a bog?
A bog is a
it's
really...
like a swamp?
It's like, yes.
I thought so, but I've never...
Yeah.
I thought that
right,
might
it's
be
an Irish word for swamp.
Yeah.
So Congressional was a swamp, and Rory shot like 20 on a par.
Okay.
Or whatever he finished at. He got it really, really deep. So, yeah, Rory does well in those situations. He hasn't shown us yet that he can win on a 7,000-yard golf course that is really, really firm and fast and show us pure accuracy with his irons and do those kind of things, right? So I don't know. I don't think I would have Rory in my top. If you were to give me 6 guys, there's 6 guys I would take, and then I'd take the field, and Rory would be one of those guys that's in the field.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have him on my top 6.
So Rory, he's missed the last 3 cuts at the U.S. Open, obviously at different courses, but...
Doesn't that say a lot to you? Remember how many few cuts Tiger Woods has missed? Tiger Woods just never fucking misses cuts, and Rory's missed his last 3 U.S. Open cuts.
So what's weird about it is, though, over that same time period, he's competed at the Masters and at the Open Championship. And so it's just odd that he struggled only at U.S. Opens. And this just so happens he's coming in here really hot. He's a good pick. He's an interesting pick. But like you said, there's something strange about him. And there's also that fact that, like, for whatever reason, U.S. Opens are haunting him. Like, he doesn't do well.
He won one, and it was a regular PGA Tour
I say
event.
He doesn't do well, and he's won one. But
but it was a regular PGA Tour event, essentially. That's what Congressional was.
How do you mean?
Because the winning score was like 15 under par.
Okay.
And there was multiple guys finished at double digits on the par. It was soaking wet.
Yeah.
It was like a regular
Which
event.
Suits his game, because he can bomb it and land it soft,
exactly.
Right? So Rory's last major win came in 2014 at the PGA Championship at Valhalla. I have one last random Rory McIlroy factoid before we can move on to the next storyline.
Yeah.
Rory, his other win besides the RBC was earlier this year at the Players Championship.
Yeah. Big win for him.
It just so happens that the U.S. Open and the Players' Championship are the two highest purses of any PGA Tour or any other event, and they are tied for $12.5 million. So he won.
So the winner gets like $2.2 million.
The entire purse is like
outrageous.
The entire purse is like 12.5,
and they're the biggest in the world.
And they're the two biggest, and nobody else even comes close.
Yeah, the Open is probably next, and the Masters is probably close. Yeah.
But so I thought that was kind of interesting that Rory won the other $12.5 million purse, and this one's 12.5. I mean, maybe there's a little.
He loves fucking cash.
Maybe there's a little mojo there.
Actually, that's a great shout. You know? I kind of really like that.
I thought there was just kind of like a little. That's worth noting.
And he's incredibly rich, and I think he likes money. So maybe he just wants to win the events that have the most money available.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I really like money too.
Yeah.
Money's cool.
I hate money. I'm Irish.
You send me yours, okay?
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
Tiger. There's so many fucking storylines. I didn't even write much. All I have here is that Tiger returned to the site of arguably the greatest performance in major history of his 2000 Pebble Beach destruction, where he won by 15 strokes.
It was. It's, in the golfing circles and in the sports world, it is. It's definitely, I think, considered the greatest ever major championship performance.
Right, because he just beat them to death.
Yeah, the most
there was
dominant.
Nobody even within miles at the end of it.
Yeah, it was probably the most incredible one we've seen. I think with Tiger this week, it's funny. There's so many storylines for Pebble that Tiger never goes under the radar. But if there was a week where he might not be the biggest storyline, it could be.
There's so many storylines.
Yeah, it could almost kind of be this week. I think there's just lots of things in his favor. I think Rory winning last week helps him.
Yeah,
because there's lots of pressure on Rory. The biggest story is probably Phil. Phil's 6 seconds, and it's his birthday on Sunday, and all these other things.
Phil's three bullets down. We're gonna get to it.
Yeah, you have that story. You have DJ. You have Spieth playing well. You're
like Notre Dame over here, listing off my storylines.
You have Brooks Koepka going for 3-peat. You just have all these things that kind of mean that Tiger's kind of coming in here, and because of how he played at the PGA, and everyone knew he was going to play that way. I told you that's what was going to happen. Rusty, it was an MC. It was going to be an MC. And
so that's what I was going to say. Like, let's go back on what we've said about Tiger the last couple of tournaments he's played in, including
Memorial. He was in the hunt. Here's what I'm going to say about Tiger.
But we did go into it thinking he's rusty. Sunday, this is his only competition.
Come Sunday, Tiger Woods will be in one of the 4 last groups.
You think
Sunday.
so?
So he will be within tied 8 or better.
Okay,
come Sunday.
I like that.
That's my prediction.
That's a bold prediction.
He will be in one of the 4 or 3 last groups.
Okay, that covers our Tiger Woods storylines. Let's move on. Spieth, as he's
my
covered
pick this week.
How many weeks in a row? I don't know. We keep on highlighting him because he's putting like crazy.
Yeah,
and his iron play is kind of coming around, kind of not, but it's coming into form, and he is in position to be. To win. He's on the verge of breaking through.
It's not even his iron play. So it's with Jordan Spieth, obviously it's his putting, but then the next part is how he drives the golf ball. And he'd lost his confidence with the driver. He has that back now. He has the ability to move it both. Spieth is one of those guys who moves it right to left, and he needs to move it left to right. Similar to Tiger. Not that Spieth is remotely close to Tiger ball striking, but he's not. He's one of the guys that he moves it both ways, right? There aren't many of the guys. Most of the guys move it one way, and they never like to move it the other way. Spieth is one of those guys that hits it right to left and left to right.
Right.
Similar to Tiger, hits it right to left and left to right. So, I think Spieth is my pick this week.
Interesting.
As I said earlier on our previous Buttercut podcast, I'm going to pick Jordan Spieth every week that he's playing until he wins.
He proves you otherwise.
Because he's so close. He is going to win. He is too good. And
he's going to lead the field in putting every week.
Listen, and Jordan Spieth is one of those guys that I think when it's all said and done, he could win 4 or 5 U.S. Opens.
Sure. He's super young.
But he's just made for the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Jordan
How do you
Spieth,
mean by that?
What I mean by that is he's so mentally strong. He's so mentally stronger than so many of the other top guys.
Right.
And when I think of a golf tournament, right, and you think of, okay, if you finish even par here, you're going to win the tournament. The first person I think of is Jordan Spieth. He's just a grinder. He knows how to get around. Like, it's actually a good point. The exact opposite of how Rory McIlroy is, I think Jordan Spieth is. So the harder the golf course, the better Jordan Spieth plays.
Right.
Jordan Spieth wins events where even par to 10 under is going to be your winning score.
Because
really
of the putter, right?
Really, yes, exactly.
And a short game.
And his mental ability.
Because he doesn't get worn down.
Difficult golf courses where going really low isn't what you have to do. When you have to get to 20 under,
right,
that's not Jordan Spieth's thing. But McIlroy, he'll get you to 20 under.
Sure.
Right. So, yeah, I love Jordan Spieth this
Something
week.
about Spieth's, like, his mentality, like the air he puts on, it reminds me of like super powerful, rich, conservative white guys. Kind of like a Bush. Like he feels like a Bush or something.
Pretty sure he is. Like I think he's pretty. I think he's
pretty
a cousin.
Plugged in. I think
he's a cousin of Bush Jr.
He kind of has that air to him. Where
I agree with you.
He looks at you and you're like, oh.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I think that plays in his favor.
Yep.
Okay, so Spieth, a win would tie Spieth with McIlroy and Koepka in the pantheon
for 4 majors
of current golfers with 4 majors.
Yeah, Spieth has he's a U.S. Open, a Masters, and a PGA.
It says here there are only 5 active PGA Tour golfers with 5 or more majors.
Only 5 active. Okay, let me name them. You have Tiger Woods. You have Phil Mickelson.
He has 5?
Mickelson has more than that, right? He's only have 6. He has 4 Masters.
Yeah, okay.
He's continue. 4 Masters and he's 2 PGAs and he's an Open. Mickelson, I think, has 7.
Okay.
So you've Tiger, you've Phil. You said 5 active.
That's what it says here.
PGA members who have 5 or more.
I pulled this directly out of an article and I only didn't look up.
Well, hang on. Let me think about this for a second. Tiger and Phil. Ernie does not have.
You know what, though?
Does not. Because Tiger and Phil are the only 2 people I can think of who have more than 5. Because there's a bunch of people less than that.
So the way that the sentence ends is quite odd.
Okay.
So it says only 5 active PGA Tour golfers with 5 or more majors, and only Koepka and McIlroy are younger than 43, which neither Koepka nor McIlroy have 5 because they just said they have 4. I don't know what exactly this writer was saying.
I would go
so
as far
basically
as
Phil and Tiger.
I would go as far as to say it's only Phil and Tiger that are active PGA Tour players who have.
We'll look that up.
5 or more.
We'll look that up and address it in the next episode.
I mean, that's the only people I can think of because the only guys who have you have Ernie and Koepka and McIlroy and all those.
We already
guys,
addressed their 4.
Right, they all have 4. Okay.
So there's that. There's my shitty stat that was not quite right and worded incorrectly. Next storyline.
Yep, go for it.
DJ Demons, as in Dustin Johnson. So during the 2010 U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, DJ shot a final round 82, when a 77 would have got him into a playoff to win versus Graham McDowell. So he shit the bed in epic proportions in 2010, and now he's here for
I
either
think
payback or who knows.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's too dumb to think about payback, to be honest.
I know. It's so great. It's kind of refreshing.
It's fantastic.
I mean, he's just straightforward.
Yeah.
If he misses, it's probably because he lost concentration.
If you look back at that US Open final round, right? I actually just watched a video the other day of the USGA are posting these cool videos to YouTube where
there's a ton of cool footage out there.
Yeah, but so they've taken all the winners at Pebble Beach. And they do so they have Jack Nicklaus, Tom Watson, Tom Kite, Tiger Woods, and Graham McDowell.
Yeah.
And they posted these 8-minute videos to YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's called, so how it starts is Graham McDowell's one in 2010. It says, hi, he's holding the trophy, the US Open trophy. And it says,
right.
Hi, I'm Graham McDowell. And this is my 2010
and
US Open. And then it's commentary and it's, about the tournament where there's clips and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it's they're awesome videos to watch. And I think one of the things that I watched Graham McDowell's video the other day, and it starts off with the 4th round, and DJ he had a 3-shot lead, I think, going into the last round.
DJ did?
Yeah. He had a 3-shot lead, I'm
and
pretty
then he
sure.
shot an 82.
But on the second hole, right, he misses the green on the second hole. and around the greens and all the bunkers, they had the fescue was all really tall, right? The rough was really high, fescue was really high. DJ gets in there around the green and the fescue, and he tries to hit a chip left-handed.
Why? Just because? Is there a reason?
It's funny when I watched the video again. I remember it happened. I remember watching it, and so apparently he couldn't take a stance right-handed, but it didn't look that bad. It almost looked like he could have taken a stance right-handed, but he got in there left-handed. He took no time at all.
You said as a wedge?
Yeah, he was around the green. He took no time at all, and he whacked it left-handed, and he advanced it about 5 yards maybe. Then he stood up to it again, and from the rough, it was an okay lie, he tried to hit this kind of flop shot, and he went right under the golf ball, and it moved like about 2 feet. And this was on the second hole, and Gray McDowell says he took no time in between shots, and he could see in his eyes he wasn't ready.
He was quitting.
He wasn't there, and he just knew he was flustered. And McDowell said all I tried to do was make pars and stand up on the tee and make pars. So
just hold on. Because he's melting down.
So DJ has those demons. I think the other thing that people are talking about a lot, right?
Back then he was also abusing cocaine, so he might have been sweating off like a really bad hangover.
Listen, that's probably exactly what. No, that's actually exactly probably what was
maybe he didn't sleep the night before.
He'd been ripping tutors all night.
Tutors.
Yeah, and he
say that one more time.
Tutors.
That's right.
Yeah, he'd been ripping tutors all night, and he was in it. Yeah, he was sweating.
He had the sweats. He decided to hallucinate and hit left-handed for no reason. It's hard to concentrate.
That's
I'm sure.
Probably exactly what happened. But so the other thing then with DJ is, people been saying this about Phil as well, is that if DJ winning twice in the Pro-Am here in the one they hold in February, the AT&T Pro-Am,
at Pebble Beach,
means absolute fuck all,
because there's no pressure, and it's a kind of a different setup. It's everything, right?
Kind of a different setup. I mean, firstly, there's
no half measures. Firstly, it's a different fucking setup.
3 fucking golf courses involved in that tournament. There's Monterey Peninsula,
right?
Spyglass Hills, and Pebble Beach. They play Pebble Beach twice, right? They Pebble Beach one of the first three rounds, and then the last round.
Right.
It's in February. The greens are maybe some of the worst greens on tour for any tour event. They are slow. They are bumpy. They are awful. It's cold. It's wet. It's like a bog.
Yeah, a bog.
It's a swamp.
Oh, a swamp for those of you in America.
It's no bearing, or it has no impact at all on this week. I would say it completely
his previous experience
to this point,
his
right?
Previous success.
Right, it's previous success. So Tiger.
Do you think that Phil's previous success this year has
absolutely
so no play?
No, the only
because they only play like 2 rounds out of 4.
Here's the impact I will tell you that'll have.
And it's cold.
It'll be the Poana greens. So the Poana greens are they're a little difficult to play. They get bumpy in the afternoon.
Yeah.
From 4 feet and in, they can get a little tricky. This week, though, the greens will be quick. They'll be firm. They'll be perfect. They'll be not like Poana. Especially not like Poana in February. However,
Poana is the type of grass.
Grass, yeah. Sorry, it's a type of grass.
No, you said that. I'm just double checking. I've been drinking.
But I think this week, the only impact that having success at Pebble will have in this week is that you like Poana greens.
I got you.
I think
so
that's
that you like the way they
impact.
roll, which is important to Phil's game, especially because he's a touchy putter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. I've got just a couple more DJ notes. So despite having been ranked world number 1 over long stretches since 2017, 2018, 2019, he has 1 major to his name.
Yeah.
All that being said, DJ has finished top 2 in each of the first 2 majors. So he finished 1 behind Tiger at the Masters earlier this year. And then he finished 2 behind Koepka at the PGA, which he was close on that one, actually. Koepka kind of started to waver, and then actually DJ kind of really shit the bed and had a couple of bogeys there at the end.
Yeah, Koepka. Well, listen, Koepka was never going to lose that event.
Right. He was in the driver's seat like the entire time.
Yeah.
It could have happened had DJ not bogeyed those 2 holes.
Well, yeah, DJ kind of just made it interesting for everybody for a minute.
What did he do, like a 39 on the front or something like that? Like, he did something that would put him in
Koepka
contention.
Made like 3 in a row, bogeys in a row.
Yeah.
DJ made a couple of birdies. But Koepka was never ever going to lose.
Right.
So
I mean, he was definitely in the driver's seat the whole time. Like all of the coverage was like, well, what are the other storylines? Because this guy's got this shit wrapped up.
Yep.
All right, next storyline. Phil, who is the best at being second at Pebble Beach in the U.S. Open. So Phil Mickelson.
So Brad,
yes,
this is the biggest storyline of the week.
This is the one you think, huh?
It's the one for me.
So it's a double storyline. It so happens. So the first wrinkle of the storyline. Phil has the most runner-up finishes in U.S. Open history at 6.
Yep.
He was runner-up 99, 2002, 2004, 2006, 2009, and 2013. Like we said just a few minutes ago, Phil won
twice at Bethpage to Tiger.
Twice at Bethpage.
Yeah.
So he's finished second, which is finishing last, more times than anybody else. In U.S. Open history.
Yeah.
Like we said, he played Pebble earlier this year and won in February at the AT&T, but that doesn't necessarily mean shit.
No.
So, side note, the oldest person to win the U.S. Open championship was Hale Irwin.
Hale Irwin, he was 45.
In 1990, he was 45 years and 15 days.
Okay.
Phil's 48, and you say he's turning 40.
He'll be 49 when he wins on Sunday.
That's incredible. So he's 4 full years older. Well, minus 15 days.
He's also hitting bombs.
He really is hitting bombs.
He's hitting it as far as he has calves like a 22-year-old.
I thought he was shaving him, and I called him out in one of my Instagram posts. He got a little peach hair on there.
Yeah, no, Phil just looks like he could be one of those guys that doesn't grow a lot of leg hair.
I think actually people over 45 lose their leg hair. That's my theory.
I think you're fucking right.
I think so.
Not only that, I think Phil is one of those lads where if he was to take his pants off, and we would get a look at his arse, I think you'd say, Jesus, he shaves his arse. But then you'd get up close and go, he doesn't. He just has a beautiful, smooth arse.
I'm sorry I have to do this. There it is.
There it is.
The first blast horn. Phil has no hair on his ass. Unless you get very close.
Beautiful shaved. Well,
it's properly manicured.
It's not shaved. It's just beautiful.
I think they call that look the Arizona State butthole.
That's. How did you know
that? Right.
That's exactly what he rocks. Yeah. He knows where he's from.
So Phil.
So Phil's the biggest storyline. 6 runners up. I think
he's the oldest son of a bitch ever. And he would be by 5 years or 4 years if he was to win.
Listen, if he is in contention come Sunday for this U.S. Open, if he's in one of, if he's within, say, 4 or 5 of the lead and he's in one of the final groups, it will be one of the greatest fucking U.S. Opens we will ever watch.
Incredible pressure, incredible TV.
See, and there's a couple of things that make me think that Phil is all about pressure and living up to the hype and doing things that people think are crazy. And
that's like his golf.
It is
his game.
He embraces that.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives me hope that I'm a Tiger Woods fan, right? And when I grew up, you were either Tiger and most people were Tiger and everyone hated Phil.
Right.
God, I would love nothing fucking more than to see Phil Mickelson win.
It's funny how the tides change.
Yeah, no, Phil Mickelson winning this U.S. Open would be the coolest thing that we've ever seen.
Do you think it's possible?
Absolutely, it's possible.
There you go. I did it right this time. I had to redeem myself.
Yeah, absolutely, it's possible.
Okay, so onward.
Yeah.
More old people.
What's next?
The Sergio Garcia streak.
Of streaks of consecutive miscuts in majors?
Bad streak.
Jesus Christ.
So we've got Sergio
how many is he
Garcia.
Is he in 7?
He has missed 7 straight major championship cuts. His last made cut
was the one he won.
No,
it wasn't Augusta.
It was at the 2017 Open Championship, but it was like he finished like 30th.
So he'd won the Masters, and then he played in the U.S. Open, and then he made the cut at the British.
And he made both of those.
Okay,
and then that was the last time.
And then he went MC.
That's right. Back then, I still had both ACLs. I tore my ACL right after that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Still, hey.
Well, thank God you don't do anything physical.
No more dunking
other than
for me.
Sit on podcasts.
I read a lot.
Can you dunk?
I read a lot on the internet.
Can you dunk basketball?
Used to could.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I had hops.
Oh, fuck.
I was kind of like not that fast, and like I had good lateral movement, but I could get up.
Yeah, you're
well, I had that one trait.
Okay.
I could jump.
Okay.
So there you have it.
So
Sergio Garcia.
So Sergio missed 7 in a row. Do I think? Well, here's the call. Do you think it comes to an end this week at Pebble,
He's been playing decently, hasn't he? He's been playing pretty well.
Yeah,
like not wins, but like to not be honest, cuts.
I have no fucking idea how Sergio's playing. There's two things I want to say on that. One, he won his major and he's a fucking Masters champ. So I don't think he gives a fuck what the fuck he does the rest of his career. He's kind of playing with.
I'm sure he'd like to win though.
Well, yes, but he's playing with house money now,
right?
You know. Secondly, I think Pebble is definitely the type of place that suits him down to the ground.
You do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sergio.
Why is that?
Okay, Sergio's a great driver of the golf ball. Tees it low, hits this little low penetrating little cut.
Yeah.
He's incredibly accurate with his irons. The greens are really small. So Pebble...
Everything's pinched, right?
Yeah,
like
Pebble,
it's really small.
You know, Pebble would be kind of comparable to Valderrama on the European Tour in Spain. Valderrama, one of the most iconic golf courses, tiny little greens, really little narrow fairways, very, very difficult place to play. Sergio has won at Valderrama multiple times in the European Tour.
Interesting.
It's in Spain. I reckon...
So that style of play suits him.
Yeah, I reckon Sergio plays well this week.
You think he makes a cut?
I'm going to say Sergio finishes top 15.
Okay, I got to do one more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Top 15 for Sergio this week.
I'm like warning you. I'm like a nerdy white guy.
Yeah.
Hey, here comes
Sergio top 15 this week. That's my call.
I like it. That's actually it's a pretty big flyer too, considering how many missed cuts we've got in a row. My last storyline. Then I've got some betting odds stuff, a little bit of other things, but like we're getting towards the end of this bad boy. You guys have really done it. This has been a great episode. All right, we've got first time winners, which is always a key topic in all majors. You want to know who the closest to the top are, who have not won a major, and who have the most pressure on them to do so.
Yeah.
So we've got the top 7 players in the world all have major championships.
Yeah.
And 3 of them, Koepka, Woods, and McIlroy, have multiple. The next 8 have none. So we've got Patrick Cantlay.
Wait, what number in the world is Cantlay?
8. I don't know if he's 8th. I'm assuming
but
he is.
You have him. Well, he's been on such a hot streak of late.
Let me look it up real quick.
That would be amazing if he is 8 in the world. That's pretty high for him. Patrick Cantlay, I don't know.
Because he won the Memorial, right?
Yeah. No, he's an unbelievable player. I mean, Cantlay was one of those guys. So Cantlay was the number 1 amateur.
Yeah, he's 8th.
Okay, so Cantlay was the number 1 ranked amateur in the world. And when he turned pro, I remember he shot 60 in his like first event. I think he could have shot 60 in the PGA Tour as an amateur. He was like that guy. He was going to win it all. And then he he got hurt.
He messed his back up.
Yes.
So he messed his back
up.
And
he missed a whole year.
He missed a whole year. And then on top of that, in the midst of all that, his best friend from high school was his caddy. And when they're in California somewhere, he got ran over, hit and run, and killed. And that was part of his recovery. I made some notes here that are
so
deep in this bad boy.
So Cantlay, So Cantlay was basically he's one of those guys that he was going to be the next best golfer in the world, and then a lot of fucking shit happened to him, and he wasn't who he was supposed to be for those few years, and now he's back to where he actually belongs.
He was incredible in college. He was incredible as an amateur.
And he is going to be one of the best players in the world for the next 20 years.
So here it is. Let's see here. I'm looking for the year. 2011, he qualified for the U.S. Open as an amateur. The following week, June 24th, Cantlay shot the lowest round in PGA Tour history by an amateur when he
60.
shot a course record 60 at the Travelers Championship.
Yeah, I remember
at TPC River Highlands.
River Highlands, yeah.
So he holds the most consecutive weeks at number 1 at 54
as an amateur.
Number 1 amateur in the world.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be number 1 in the world at some point.
And he held the record for the most total weeks, number 155, until John Rahm took it in 2016.
Yeah, Cantlay he'll be a number 1 professional.
So that's a long-winded way of saying
he's incredibly good,
and he's very good, and he's coming up, and he's going
to win majors. Yeah.
So he's going to be in contention, and it's him being 8 is not a fluke.
No.
All right.
Who's next?
Let me get these notes back up. I got too deep in the world golf rankings there. Okay, so we were talking about the next 8 players do not. Patrick Cantlay was the first. Yeah. Bryson DeChambeau.
He's gonna actually, and I've said this before.
Yeah,
I think DeChambeau will win multiple.
Another big pedigree amateur player.
I think he'll win multiple U.S. Opens. He's that type of guy.
I don't think this is the one though. He's really off right now.
No, and I don't disagree with that. I just think, firstly, he's an unbelievably good golfer.
Agreed.
He doesn't give a fuck what anyone thinks about what he does, how he does it.
Which we've talked about before, and I like that.
Tiger Woods plays with him in the practice round every week. They play the practice round this week. So Tiger sees something in him.
Tiger likes Nickelback too, so like that's not necessarily a vote of confidence, but Tiger is the GOAT.
So Bryson won the U.S. Amateur. Right. I think DeChambeau is going to win in the U.S. Open. I think that's going to be
it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's a matter of time.
I just don't think it's this year because he's in his head right now. He's missing cuts and
listen. I don't disagree with that.
He's a hothead too.
Absolute hothead. He's a maniac.
Well, and he does so many things that are not normal. Like he which is a benefit to his game in the long run, but in the short run, if he's off, it's still something that's relatively new to him. Like he hasn't been playing with these giant fucking grips for like more than a couple years, right?
No,
it's not like he's been doing his whole life. So like if something kind of falls apart, it's not something that it just kind of goes away. He's got these like so many quirky, weird things that he does that it's odd.
But it also plays into that makes him who he is and makes him really good.
Maybe he reduces the fucking
because he doesn't
thing and
give
then he
a
can hit
shit
the ball.
what anyone else thinks.
And he's putting side saddle and wearing weird hats and doing what the fuck he feels like.
Exactly.
And people make fun of him. He does not give a shit.
Whatever makes the ball go in the hole fewer than the guy beside me, that's all that matters.
I went through like only 2 weeks where I was like, this guy's an asshole. And then I came back and I was like, I like this guy. This guy's great.
Listen, I like him. And that's not a popular train of thought. I kind of like him because he just
this podcast is pro Bryson DeChambeau.
Yes.
Fuck the world.
Okay, next.
All right, next. Xander Schauffele.
Yeah, he's a big pick this week. I've got a lot of texts from people.
He's young, man.
Yeah, I've had a lot of texts from people, including a load of my Irish mates who have money on Schauffele this week.
They do.
Yeah, Schauffele is a very popular pick amongst people. You get good value on him. You get good numbers. He's a California boy. He's really good at everything. So
he's plus 2,800 to win.
Yeah, so he's really good at everything. He's small, but he actually kind of hits it a good distance.
Mashes
it. Yeah, he's not short by any means. He's a good ball striker. He's a good chipper, he's a really, really good putter.
Yeah,
he's another guy. He's gonna win. I would say he'll win multiple majors.
Yeah.
And he's going to win one here very soon. So Schauffele is a very popular kind of under-the-radar pick this week.
The next one's probably the most popular player to not have won. Your boy, Ricky Fowler.
Yeah. Ricky said earlier this week, he said, if I don't win a major, that won't define my career.
Maybe he's just trying to talk himself into it. I know he doesn't believe it.
And, that sentence, I would say the exact opposite. If Ricky Fowler was to never win a major, it would 100% define his golfing career.
Maybe he's looked at it that way for the last 10 years he's been on tour. Yeah, he's like, I got to look at this different.
Yeah, it's probably
I got to change my mind.
It's probably the only way he can look at it.
I can't be this much. I can't put this much pressure.
Listen, Ricky Fowler's going to win one.
He has to. He's amazing.
He's unbelievably good. He's the best. He's probably the best putter out there at the moment.
Honestly, I kind of liken him to Steph Curry. He's like the Steph Curry of the PGA. Like the kids love him.
That's a fantastic.
He wears that bright orange. Every kid I see that's under 15 years old is wearing bright orange and the Puma shoes and Puma head to toe.
That's a fantastic.
He's very popular
comparison.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think he's got the game, obviously, to do it. If like you said previously on the last week, that he just has to avoid those big numbers. Otherwise, he's good, right?
Yeah, that's a fantastic reference.
Yeah. He's the Steph. He needs to get more splash in his game.
Exactly.
Next, Jon Rahm, who is actually a pretty good candidate for the first of these fellows to win a major. He's looked at as a similar character to Sergio in the fact that he's a hot-headed kind of maniac, but he's young and he mashes the ball, and when he's on, he's really, really on. And like when you see kind of like the stories about him, like the background stories, he's like a really good guy. He just is a polar. He hits the poles when he gets pissed off. Like his chemicals are off. So what do you feel? How do you feel about Rahm?
I like Rahm. I think, he's going to be someone that wins majors. He's really, really good.
Yeah.
He's just a fucking maniac.
He's just too angry and young.
He's way too angry and he's way too hyped up.
I used to be fucking angry when I was 22. I'd kick a fucking hole in the wall if I lost my video game.
That was because when you would go to try and finger a babe and she'd turn you down and you'd get all pissed off and
you never do know. No, I mean,
I think what Ram,
emotions swirl.
I think what Ram. Yeah, listen, he's unbelievable. He's another one of the guys. He doesn't have like a weakness in his game.
Another Arizona State butthole guy.
Yeah, he loves his buttholes. Have you seen his chick, actually?
She's an Arizona State
baby. Yeah, an Arizona State chick. He drives it well.
They've got a good brand over there.
Yeah, his drives it well, his irons are good, he chips it good, and he puts
Did you say dry as a well?
He drives it well.
Drives it well.
Yeah, drives it well.
I was about to say, whatever the fuck dry as a well means.
His irons are good, he chips it nice, and he puts well. He does everything well. You would think he's going to win some things. He's just a bit of a maniac.
So we got 3 more players that are on that top 8 list that are kind of boring. We got Matt Kuchar. We know Moot Cooch.
I think, listen, Cooch is in my 6 this week. That
finished second last weekend.
So I had 6 guys this week that I think if you give me these 6 of the field, I'll take these 6.
Okay. Let me hear them all.
Spieth, number 1.
Okay.
DJ, number 2.
Okay.
Kuchar, number 3. Snedeker, number 4.
Ooh.
Yep.
He looks like a hobbit.
Yeah.
Just a really tall one.
Yeah, that's fine. I have Tiger, number 5.
Okay.
And Schauffele, number 6.
Mm-hmm.
So they're my 6 that I have. I'll take those. You can have the field. The winner's coming from one of those 6.
You think so?
Yep.
So the 2 that you didn't mention that are left on this list, Tony Finau and Paul Casey. How do you feel about Paul Casey?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He's just inherently English in that he's an inherent loser. Like the rest of those English fucks.
He's soft, huh?
Luke Donald, Lee Westwood, Paul Casey, Ian Poulter. They're just inherent. Listen, this is
frosted tips losers.
Listen, this is harsh, considering they've all had great careers and they've all won multiple events. They've all never won majors, nor will any of them ever win a major.
That's your stance.
No, it's not my stance. It's fact. That's just a
Fleetwood's
fact
an Englishman, isn't he?
Yeah, Fleetwood.
Is he?
I will tar
because of his mad flow. You deal with it, yeah.
It's too soon to make comment on that.
Okay,
but I will tar him with that brush shortly. Yeah? If he doesn't make a breakthrough, absolutely
tar him and feather him. Is that what you mean by that?
He'll be tarred and feathered with that brush.
Say feathered again.
Feathered.
All right.
He'll be tarred and feathered with that brush. So if he doesn't make a breakthrough.
So I got these 3 guys as like side notables of people who are not in that top 15 in the world ranking, but that are very well-known players that have not won a major. So we just touched on Fleetwood. He's about to get tarred and feathered if he doesn't pull it together. Yeah. He finished runner-up, as we mentioned, to Koepka a couple years ago. We've got Leishman, who I'm being generous putting in this list, but I think that he is a top cat. I think he's a great player.
I'm a big Leishman fan.
I thought you were going to Tom Kite me on this shit.
No, I love Leishman.
Remember, you know what I'm talking about?
My brother said to me the other day, he's like, Peter, every time I see Leishman, I go, that kind of looks like you. And
he got the same game?
Just the same kind. He's kind of tall, same kind of body type. Yeah. And what's funny as well, Leishman's putter that he's using, I use the exact same model of putter. Yeah, so there you go.
There you have it, Mark Leishman.
So I'm a Leishman guy.
Well, obviously I am if I put him in this category. My last guy, Hideki Matsuyama, who I don't think is a stretch to put into this. He was in the top 10 of the world for a long while there for a minute.
Yeah, you're a big Matsuyama guy. I've come to realize that.
It's not necessarily that I'm a big Matsuyama guy,
but
you're
just big into Asians.
Well, I like Asians. Yeah, okay. I like all people. I'm a person of all. I'm a rainbow person.
Amateur Asian threesome.
So what I do like is players that can kind of distance themselves from the field with like extraordinary play, which he has the ability to do.
Or by waiting for a long time at the top of your backswing.
That's very distracting.
It just hypnotizes every other golfer.
There was a tournament where he beat Webb Simpson in a playoff, and
he actually didn't take a swing.
No, he was mashing the ball, and Webb Simpson had to hit like a fucking 3-wood, and he was like literally 250 yards behind him on the 18th, and like Matsuyama was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna chip this 80-yard thing in and putt, and you're gonna lose. And that's how that played out. Yeah. And ever since then, I think it was maybe the waste management or something, whatever it was. He did things that looked generational in talent.
Yeah,
but
I agree with you.
That fucking pause messes me up.
Listen, it's mesmerizing. It's like it's like being hypnotized by a geisha. You know, it's just this beautiful white-faced geisha just kind of waving a little, like, a watch in your eyes.
Except for he wears all, like, neon yellows and shit.
Exactly.
That shit bothers me.
He looks like fucking...
and he must be, like, sponsored by, like, Oakley from 1980, because he's always got, like, the only
Terminator
thing,
the only thing he's missing is a mullet, actually, to be honest.
He'd look tight with a mullet.
And he'd look like who's the white rapper? Fucking Dale D'Antoni, Joey.
Ooh, you are out of my depth here. Unless you're talking about Post Malone, I don't know.
No, yeah, it is out of your depth.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's it, man. Like that was
a great podcast.
That's what. Well. So we got few last things.
Okay, go ahead.
So those were the non-winner winner storylines. So we got some betting lines that we're going to look at.
Yeah.
If you would like to bet on the U.S. Open, which I highly recommend you do, check out mybookie.ag. Use code BDC. That's backdoor cover, which is what we are being produced on, which we're being released on. This is the Buttercut, but we're pushing that backdoor cover hard. Yeah. BDC, 50% on your bonus. So here is what we've got. Backdoor cover lines. We have the number one in odds is your boy, Rory McIlroy.
It's McIlroy.
Plus 800, which
What's Koepka?
Oh, this shit's not Nora because Koepka's 850. Oh, wait, no, it is. Okay. So McIlroy and Dustin Johnson are at 800.
Yeah.
Koepka's 850.
Yeah.
And then it falls to Tiger Woods at 1,200. Spieth at 2,000. The rest of them are kind of in that ballpark.
Yeah. So
Justin Thomas is plus 3,000, although he's got that wrist injury.
And he's playing absolute fucking garbage.
I would
actually bet on Justin Thomas to MC this week.
Is that right?
That's where my money would go. Your value there is on... Listen, I'm going to tell you who the winner of this golf tournament is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now.
Let's hear it.
Jordan Spieth is going to win.
There it is.
Is going to win the U.S. Open.
Okay.
So Spieth is going to win the U.S. Open. So there's your ultimate value.
So I've got something for you right here.
Okay.
The last two positions that I have marked here from mybookie.ag, where you should use promo code BDC. We have Brandt Snedeker, one of your boys, at plus 5,500.
Yeah, a lot of value there. You can take him.
And this podcast's favorite motherfucking golfer in America and in Europe and wherever else you guys live.
It's Shane fucking Lowry.
Shane Lowry, plus 6,000.
Oh, yeah. You see, so here's what you do. You take Jordan Spieth to win. You take Snedeker and you take Lowry both to finish top 5. I don't know what odds you get. You'll probably get a third of whatever his winning odds are.
Okay.
So that
you're gonna parlay that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
the play.
No. Here's your play. You take.
These are three separate bets.
Yeah, 3 separate bets.
Okay.
You take Spieth to win, then you take Snedeker to finish top 5, and you take Lowry to finish top 5, and you'll get. On your odds, you'll get probably about a fifth or a sixth of the to win odds.
Yeah.
So you'll get a great odds on him to finish top 5.
This is relevant because we don't have this, or we didn't until very recently. You guys have been allowed to gamble since you were in your knickers, right?
It's like, so when I used to be in high school,
right?
So for lunch, right? So lunchtime would come around, the bell would ring. We'd walk across the street to the sandwich shop.
Okay.
I'd go and I'd buy a sandwich.
What kind?
It used to be a French baguette with turkey, coleslaw.
I'm fucking hungry.
Little lettuce, turkey coleslaw lettuce.
We haven't eaten dinner yet.
So turkey coleslaw lettuce. You buy a bag of chips.
Okay.
And you get a soda. Then you walk straight to the bookies.
Mm-hmm.
And you
what?
Go,
as a child?
I'm in high school. I'm in high school. I'm 16.
Yeah.
So
not technically a child.
You go and buy a sandwich, a bag of chips, and a soda at the sandwich store.
Okay.
Then you walk next door and you walk into the bookies and you sit down at the bookie desk.
Okay.
And you place your bets on, maybe it was horse racing that was on, maybe there was a soccer match going to be on.
Whatever felt good.
But it was a couple of, you eat your sandwich and you write out your betting slip and you place your bet and then you go back to school.
That's the rules.
That's what lunch was.
God damn, that's a great country you live in.
Yeah, it's a fantastic country. Yeah.
I got to go visit.
Yeah.
I got a lot of things to do, so you're going to find that out on this podcast as we go. I'm gonna reminisce about how I would like to do some things often.
All right, so wait, so my winner's Spieth. Who's your winner?
I hadn't actually thought through my winners yet. I've been doing so much goddamn research.
One winner. Go into your head.
Hold on. Tell me a little bit more about this betting, or about this about your sandwich with the baguette, real quick. I need 1 second to think through this shit.
Well, firstly, you never ever won any money. That's just a fact of life.
Okay.
The bookies always took your money.
Did you ever get your kneecaps busted?
No, you never got your kneecaps busted because that's just not the way we live over there because it's legal.
Right.
So everything's kosher.
So if you don't pay, does the government come for you, or do they like?
No, you have to pay because you have, in order to get your betting slip, you have to give them the cash.
Oh, you can't bet again.
They're
playing to the hunger.
You have to hand them cash to get your slip.
Oh, you placed the money. You don't there's no way, tab.
No, that's not a thing.
There's no way to not have it.
It's not the way we do it over here.
Wow. Now I'm shook.
So here's the thing. When gambling becomes legal here, you can't actually place your bet without getting your money from the ATM and handing it to the bookie. That is the only way it works.
Interesting.
You can't go, oh, well, here's this pretend online thing that I'm going to do. No, that's not the way it works. All right, so
you did a good job of buying me time, and I'm still very uncomfortable.
You're still uncomfortable picking a winner?
Well, I've been drinking, and I can barely read this type at this point.
Brad,
so I'm going to go
the winner's going to come from 20 guys.
Yeah, I'm going to take...
So who's you taking?
Justin Rose.
Oh, wow, Justin Rose.
He's coming in with new equipment. He's coming out of nowhere. So, the only reason why I say that is because he's good odds.
Hey, so the one U.S. Open that I went to as a fan...
Yes.
Was at Marion Country Club in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And the winner was
Rose.
Justin Rose.
So
it was awesome. We had a great time that week, right? Mickelson came second. We were staying at the Sheraton Hotel in downtown Philadelphia.
Okay.
And we went out one of the nights. I was with 3 of my friends. And we met 4 young ladies from Temple University.
That's how it goes.
And we went back to the Sheraton. And we actually got kicked out of the Sheraton Hotel. And we were made leave. This was about 2 a.m. And we had to walk back through downtown fucking South Philly. Through Temple to get
dangerous place.
To get to their place. Yeah. It was.
You lived though.
Oh, I'm still here to tell the tale.
So the reason why I'm picking him, my problem with him is that he's the new equipment guy. And like every year, the guy who's the new equipment guy is not going to compete, especially in majors. Like it's just too hard.
Yeah.
But because his odds are so good as a former number 1 within the last couple of months, I think that he's a good pick at 25 or plus 2,500.
Okay.
And then I also I'm rooting at all times for Tommy Fleetwood. I like Tommy Fleetwood. I'm a big Fleetwood guy. And then I'm always going to root for Sugar Shane. But like, those are my 2 guys.
And you know who we haven't fucking mentioned?
Who's that?
Frankie fucking Molinari.
He's kind of really fallen off. He's got good odds.
Well, hang on. Like, no one mentions him. He's going to be thereabouts. That's what's going to happen.
He is plus 3,300. Better than Rose.
Christ, there is fucking value if ever seen it. 33 to 1 on fucking Molinari.
If this doesn't get you hungry, thirsty for some betting,
then
I don't know what will.
I don't know what is. That was a great podcast.
You know, we really did it. Let me get a little bit of closing remarks here. Let's go through some social media calls.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram handle?
At Peter the Irish Guy.
At Peter the Irish Guy.
Yeah, you can follow me on at Peter the Irish Guy.
You can also follow us at The Buttercut Podcast. We're posting golf content like it's going out of style.
Yeah, especially this week. Big week this week.
We identified a couple videos that we're going to go pick up out of the archive and we're going to post here in a little bit. Please follow us. Come check us out.
Tom Kite hitting the worst golf shot ever seen by live television.
I'm going to have to post that, aren't I?
It's fucking fantastic. Yeah.
So that's coming up. We're going to continue releasing these full-on 100% Buttercut podcasts on the backdoor cover soon enough in July for the Open Championship, which is going to be our favorite championship.
Yeah, that's going to be my favorite one of the year.
Well, I'm with you, so that's that.
Yeah, love it.
We're boys. So that's kind of the plan. That's it, and that's all. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you following along. Please send any feedback, comments, whatever.
Questions,
DM
concerns.
Us. Hey, if you got a chain of the week that happens to be in the golf world, whatever, if you even know what that means.
Yeah.
Cow. Yeah. No big deal. We appreciate you listening.
Shout out my boy Elcars.
We're probably running on like 130. Well, that's not how this works, but we're running on an hour and a half at this point. So thank you for listening. We appreciate you. This has been a great episode of the Buttercup Podcast. This has been a production of MWBK Creative. That's it. That's all. Good night.
Take it easy.
Thanks for listening.